Let's talk about Logan Paul and is it Jake Paul? Is that the other brother, Chris? I always forget who the other brother is.
I don't. You're asking me like I give a shit either.
I know, but can we look this up?
Logan and Jake, I think it is.
All right, so I hope I get this right, but I might mess up their names or whatever the case may be. So Logan Paul.
It's Jake.
Oh, Jake. Okay, so Logan Paul, my understanding is the bigger, stronger brother who's actually been boxing for a longer period of time. And Logan is the one that called out Floyd Mayweather and a bunch of other people. But then his younger brother, Jake, am I getting that right? His younger brother, Jake? Yeah. Okay. His younger brother, Jake, just fought this guy.
No, I think, oh, fuck, I don't even know. One's older, one's younger.
Jake Paul dispatched Ben Askren. Okay. Ben Askren, by the way, was a badass wrestler. He was an Olympic wrestler. He's not a boxer. Any of you guys that saw the fight on YouTube, it was like a one-punch knockout. Ben Askren showed up looking more dad bodish than I am. Like, if you're about to get into a ring, I don't even care if it's an amateur fight, you should not look fatter than Scott Groves. That's like rule number one. So Ben Askren gets in the ring this last weekend with Jake Paul, and Jake Paul knocks him out in like one punch. And Ben even admitted, he's like, I don't care. I was just there for the money. Like, I'm a pro wrestler. I'm not a boxer. And what some of you might not know about me is I boxed for about 10 years. I have 5 amateur fights, of which I'm 4 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw. Although if I'm being honest, the draw should have been a loss because the guy hit me pretty freaking hard. And boxing is insanely hard. And I give Jake Paul and Logan Paul a lot of credit for falling in love with the sport and, you know, making money however they can. Good for them. They're YouTube stars. They're doing their thing. But Ben Askren was not a boxer, wasn't even really an amateur boxer, much less a pro boxer. And everybody's making this big to-do that Jake Paul, which I think is the younger brother, knocked him out. Okay, good. Now, Logan Paul has a fight scheduled in June with Floyd Mayweather. And let's be clear, Logan Paul is about 3 or 4 inches taller than Floyd Mayweather. He's about 30 pounds heavier. And in a professional boxing match, 190-pounder against a 160-pounder, a professional boxing match, the 160-pounder would not have a snowball's chance in hell of beating a professional 190-pound boxer because there's a reason they have weight classes in wrestling and boxing. At some level, like weight and size and mass, it matters, right? A bigger boxer, a bigger wrestler can just lean on the other guy and eventually win and just wear him down. However, Logan Paul is not a professional boxer. He's a very good amateur boxer who has a great YouTube following, and he is going to get murdered by Floyd Mayweather. I don't care if Floyd is 50. I don't care if Floyd has one hand tied behind his back. I don't care if Floyd shows up to the fight just completely out of shape. Floyd Mayweather is probably the best that the sport has ever seen as far as boxing intellect, defensive boxing skills. He's world class. He is the Michael Jordan of boxing, and there's not even really a close second who fought in his weight class. Now, mind you, Logan Paul is definitely the bigger, stronger, younger man. But I can tell you, when I was working out a lot, I fought this guy named Eddie Sanchez, and I fought him on accident because he was my boxing trainer. And then once in a while, we would spar, like just do some light sparring, and he would give me some drills. And he was probably 160 pounds, and I was probably 200 pounds. And one day I was really going at it, and like I was feeling good about myself, and I was swinging punches. And Eddie Sanchez, to be clear, was a good professional boxer. He's kind of like that journeyman, probably finished his career 16-14. He did win a belt because he had one fight where he got to stand in, and he ended up winning a championship belt, highlight probably of his life. Really great guy, Eddie Sanchez. So he used to be my boxing instructor. I paid him some money to train me and give me some lessons. And one day I really started going after it, and he slowed me down. He's like, hey buddy, he's like, calm down. You hit me that hard in the head again. Like, we're going to have a problem. And so what I did, I hit him in that head hard again. And he did this little swivel action and hooked me to the body so hard. I don't even know if it was in the kidney or the liver. All I know is my entire body shut down, and I could still see, I could still think, but I could not breathe. And I just fell to the ground like a 200-pound bag of shit because he was a professional boxer. And there is a big difference between an amateur boxer who thinks they're tough, even if they're getting some training from Freddie Roach, and even if they look really good with their shirt off. There is a difference between an amateur boxer and a professional boxer, and that was Eddie Sanchez, not Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is probably the greatest of all time. So I'm not going to watch this because I don't want to give any of these yahoos my money, like either of the Logan brothers or the Paul brothers, Logan or Jake Paul. I don't want to give either of them any money, so I'm not going to watch the fight. And if any of you are planning to watch the fight, just know it's a spectacle. Like, Mayweather's a defensive fighter. He's going to carry him for a few rounds. Jake Paul will come forward, or Logan Paul will come forward and throw some really crazy haymakers, and it'll look like he has a snowball's chance in hell. And eventually, 5 or 6 rounds in, Mayweather will find his groove. He'll figure out his timing. He'll punch Logan Paul really hard in the face, and Logan will then understand what it's like to be punched by a professional boxer who's past his prime. And then around the 6th or 7th round, they'll stop the fight because Mayweather will just find his openings, and Logan Paul will be staring off to space with stars in his eyes. And it'll be a good spectacle, and they'll both make a lot of money on YouTube, and it'll be fun, and it'll be funny. But if you're actually interested in watching boxing, there's so many great boxing matches coming up. Subscribe to DAZN. I refuse to call it DAZN, which that's like the worst name for a cable channel ever. Subscribe to DAZN. It's about $100 a year. They have awesome boxing matches every weekend. I love the sport of boxing. I've fallen in love with it over like the last 15 years. I can watch any level of pro fight, and then like the big heavyweight fights, or the big like Teofimo who's coming up, and the Bull. Can you look up? I think his name is Vargas. I can't remember his first name. The Bull. He's a boxer he's like 18-0, and he's knocked out every single person in the first round. He's a very unassuming looking Hispanic
Jake
guy.
LaMotta?
No, that was the original Bull. That's like a fighter from like 80, 90 years ago. There's a Hispanic guy. I think his last name is Vargas. I've only seen 2 of his fights because his fights are very hard to catch because he's knocking people out in 60, 90 seconds. Anyway, we'll look him up and we'll.
Fernando Vargas?
Yes, Fernando Vargas. This kid is insane. So watch him on DAZN, DAZN. But if you like boxing, or if you're getting caught into the spectacle, please watch some real boxing. Don't give these people your money because it's going to be laughable. And I'll watch the highlights on YouTube of Logan Paul getting destroyed by Floyd Mayweather.